Hello everyone. I normally wouldn't use text-to-speech when making a video like this. But unfortunately, I'm in a situation where I can't record my voice at the moment. And I don't want to keep you all waiting. So here's the video. I hope you enjoy it. Fair warning. For people who have kept up with the series on Amino, this video will contain minor spoilers. And this video will contain mentions of school shootings and abuse. If you are sensitive to these issues, please leave the video. I'd hate to make you uncomfortable. The Sweet Bod virus is a Friday night funking AU I created. This one in particular is a playoff of Phantom Fear's Corruption AU. If you haven't seen any of their videos, I highly encourage you to do so. They're an amazing modder. Their YouTube channel will be in the description. The story centers around Pico. Pico is with a handful of survivors that are trying to turn the world back to normal by making an antidote. These survivors being Daddy Dearest, Mommy Nearest, Skid, Pump, and Senpai. The main villain in this story is Cassandra. Lemon Demon is an antagonist, as he created the virus, but he isn't a main threat. Cassandra is trying to do the exact opposite of Pico's group. Pico's group is trying to give everyone who is infected a second chance. Cassandra's group is trying to put them out of their misery. The story is set in the city of Newgrounds. Once a decently sized place where about everyone knew each other. And it was protected by its beloved tankman. Everyone knew Pico, but not for the right reason. They only recognize him as the survivor of the Newgrounds school shooting, which was the most hostile thing that happened in that city. For example, if Pico introduces himself, the first thing he's asked is, "Aren't you that kid that survived the Newgrounds school shooting?" He's always hated that. Stated earlier, the one that created the virus was Lemon Demon. He did this out of spite of Daddy Dearest. They have an entire backstory in this AU. Maybe that will be discussed in a future video. Anyway, the first person he gave it to was the girlfriend, who spread it to the boyfriend, who spread it to Pico. It's a whole mess. Now, Pico and his group have to come up with an antidote for this virus. Only problem is, Cassandra has become more of a bother. By that I mean she's trying to interrupt in any way she can. She likes to toy with Pico. You see, she has Nene and Arnell held captive. Pico is trying to come up with a plan to save them and not get caught. In the story, he'll meet someone who will help him. Someone who is trying to escape Cassandra because of her abusive tendencies. During that time, he will find out that there's a lot of people that he knows that have to suffer at the hands of her. The virus in this series is basically the corruption. I describe the corruption in this series as a virus because of how quickly it spreads. The only way it can spread is through touch. It used to spread through other ways, but I shortened it down to just that. Through touch. The virus has different types of cases. 3 to be exact. Mild, average, and severe. For example, Pico has an average case, though it's controlled with medication made by the group. He should be long gone now, but he's not thanks to them. The medication will be explained in the next section of this video. The virus can be controlled without medication, but this method is the most painful. You can pick off pieces of the plaque. The only character that uses this method the most is Darnell. The reason why it's so painful is because it's attached to the skin. So in a nutshell, you're basically ripping off your skin. It lasts for about a day until it covers that spot again. You'd have to consistently do it in order to avoid being fully covered. All this method really does is buy time. Pico will actually mention that he used to use this method, but stopped due to medications being made. The virus not only covers your body with its plaque, but it covers your brain as well. Its effects are similar to malaria in a way. Headaches, mental confusion, distorted eyesight, visions, and voices in your head. Those are a few of the symptoms. Not all of the people affected by the virus experience all the symptoms. The most common ones, however, are distorted eyesight, visions, and headaches. We actually see one of these symptoms in the series. At one point, we'll see through the eyes of Darnell. His vision is heavily distorted. He couldn't even recognize Pico at first. As for other symptoms, there's many. Some of which have already been mentioned. One of the telltale signs of it, if you can't see the plaque, is crying blood. We actually see Pico and Nene do this in the series. Mainly Pico. I mean, can you blame the poor guy? He's been through so much. I'll have to explain it in a future video if you want. That's about as much as I can give out on the virus right now. Now on to the medications. The medications were created by Skid and Pump. Keep in mind that they're older in this series. Skid is 13 and Pump is 12. Pump is the little genius in this series, so he handles the science part of the medications. Skid gathers the ingredients for them. And by gather, I mean he picks up whatever he finds interesting. In the beginning of this series, he actually picks up toxic waste and puts it in the antidote. That didn't turn out well. In the beginning, there's only one medication that's referred to as the medicine pump. It works just like an insulin pump. The medicine is kept in a little square box and is injected into the skin at all times. The only way it'll work is if it's on some open skin. If you don't have any, you'll have to create some. It's made to go on your hip, but it can go anywhere. Pico uses the medicine pump in the series. In fact, you can see it on his right hip. As for if there will be any more medications in the series, I haven't decided. I'm not going to give out anything on the antidote, as it would be spoiler territory. This is the only thing I'm going to say about it. Lemon Damon created an antidote at the same time as the virus. When he got infected, he used it on himself, but it didn't work. He was missing a key ingredient. I'm not going to say what he was missing. That's about as much as I'm going to give out on the story itself. I could go on, but I'd spoil it all for you. Here are some fun little questions you may have about the series. Just some I've received in the past.
It was originally called Newgrounds, the Sweet Bot Virus. But eventually, I shortened it up to just the Sweet Bot Virus. We don't really focus on the city itself in the series. I mean, it takes place here in Newgrounds, but other than the shooting, we don't talk about it. We will get to explore it however. Now, why is it called the Sweet Bot Virus? For this, I'll have to reference my bestie. Their channel will be in the description. When this series was in very early development, I was struggling to come up with a name for it. At the same time, I was on the phone with them and they were playing songs by Lemon Demon. At one point, the song Sweet Bot played. It wasn't about the context of the song, it was the name. When I saw that name and brainstormed for a second, I almost screamed. That's it, I know what to name it, so yeah, that's why it's called the Sweet Bot Virus. I was originally making it an Ask blog on Amino. It made me happy seeing how popular it got on there. I thought no one was going to like it. Unfortunately, I couldn't motivate myself to make the pictures for the series. So, as of this point forward, it will not be continued on Amino. It will be made into an animated series here on my channel. It will be kind of like Lacious Girls Blood Friend series. I'll have more motivation when it comes to animating. If I can't do that, it will be posted on Wattpad. Don't worry, I'll try and make it reachable for everyone. The series should begin development shortly after this video is posted. Please give me time when I'm working on this. I'll let you know when the next episode will come out. Don't expect any episodes once a week. I'm an independent animator, meaning only me myself and I animate this thing. I would hire an animator, but unfortunately, I don't have any money. I'm a little young for a Patreon page and I don't know how YouTube monetization works. So please be patient. I will give updates on this series' progress. I wanna save each character for their own video, if you guys want it. But to give you all a teaser of what's to come, I'll give you a fact about each of the ones in the speed paint. Pico is incredibly selfless, always putting others' needs in front of his own. Daddy Dearest didn't get much shown on him in the original series because not only is he a pain to draw, no one gave him many questions. Same goes for Mommy Mirest. Mommy Mirest kind of acts like everyone's mother as she is the only female there, and she likes to look out for them. Skid is a little ball of energy in this series. Part of that is because of his ADHD. Pump has an IQ of 162, meaning he's extremely smart. That's mainly why people rely on him so much. Senpai has been placed into his own computer by Pump, and serves as the group's British annoyance. Yes, I headcanon him as British, don't at me. You can't see it in this picture well, but Witty actually lost his right leg. He says he was caught in the middle of a crossfire. We actually get to find out who caused this crossfire later on. Nene doesn't have any more beef with Pico or Darnell, and she became very good friends with them both. Darnell is a pyromaniac in this series, and since he can't get just anything he wants to burn, he carries around a small lighter. Cassandra in this series is a bit of a masochist. She takes pleasure in seeing others in pain. She'd do whatever she can in order to see this. That's about it for this series. I'm glad that so many people wanted a video on this. I'm sorry I made you guys wait so long for this video. I kept getting sidetracked and events kept popping up. This series should keep my attention for quite a while. I hope you enjoyed hearing about this series. Thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it. See you all later.